So the other day I was driving to work and I passed this plot of land that I've driven by 100 times. I kind of live out in the country-ish area. And this land around here, there's a lot of trees, a lot of vegetation, a lot of growth, open space, right? It's what Texas should be, I think. Anyway, this particular piece of land that I've driven by, like I do it every day on my way to work, right? It used to be beautiful, like tall grass, tons of trees, just this wild living piece of land tucked kind of in between everything else that's already built up around it, right? But that particular morning, it was gone, all of it, replaced by heavy equipment, clear dirt, and this kind of stillness that comes only when something is like completely been torn up. And honestly, it made me a little sad. I know that probably sounds dramatic. It's just land. But there's something about watching things that are alive get taken down, even when you know something new is coming. It literally hurts my heart. And then I had this thought. Sometimes you have to clear things out, even things that are living, in the name of progress and growth. And I could not stop thinking about that because that's not just true for the development of land, right? It is deeply and sometimes uncomfortably true for business and honestly, a lot of times for our life. Here's what I know about the land. Whoever owns it had a plan before they ever brought in that first piece of heavy equipment. They didn't just show up one morning and start knocking things down for fun. There was a blueprint. There was a plan. There was a vision for what was going to stand there eventually. It happens to be a Hobby Lobby, so I'm here for it. But the clearing of the land was not the point. The clearing was the preparation for the point, right? And I think a lot of us might be in seasons like that right now, or we're getting ready to be. I know that I am in a season like that. So this is me talking to me and you get to listen in today. Sometimes there's something in our business that's been alive. It's been working on some level, but it starts to feel like overgrown grass. Like it's taking up space that something better could be standing in. Maybe it's a service that you've been offering for a long time, just out of habit rather than still being called to it. Maybe it's a marketing strategy that used to feel exciting and now it just kind of feels like an obligation. Maybe it's a commitment, like a program or a partnership or a platform that made sense when you said yes to it, but the version of you who said yes isn't the same person that you are now. And here's one of the hardest things for me, right? Those things aren't bad. They might even still be part of your business that's alive and is making sense. They're technically working, but alive and meant for this season are two different things. The trees on that land were not diseased. They weren't dead. They were just kind of in the way of what was supposed to come next. And I was literally talking to one of my website clients this morning about this very thing, right? We're building her new site and we're kind of having a booger of a time getting it to feel right, if you know what I mean. It's beautiful. It's stunning even, but it's just not right, you know? So I dug in a little bit to particularly her brand photos that we were using. So we had this mix. Some of them were her older brand photos. Some of them were the new ones. And she said that she liked the previous set, but she didn't really identify with them like she did with the new ones. And when I asked her to kind of explain that a little bit, she said the new ones just felt like they represented who she is now in a better way, kind of more grown up, a little wiser, right? The old ones weren't bad and they looked beautiful on the site. They were working, but she had outgrown them. I think about how God talks about clearing seasons in the Bible. Scripture is literally full of them. Pruning, refining, seasons of stripping down before seasons of building up. One of my favorite passages, and one that I don't think gets enough attention, is in John chapter 15. It's verse 2. And he says that he cuts off branches that bear no fruit. I mean, that's kind of a duh, right? We all know that. But it also says that he prunes the branches that do bear fruit so they can bear even more. Did you catch that? He prunes the ones that are producing, not just the dead weight. The living, working, producing branches also get pruned when there's something greater ahead, when there's more fruit to come. And that, my friend, is the space that I'm in, and maybe you're in. I want to be a little bit careful here because I'm not suggesting that you go burn down your business on a Tuesday. That is not what this episode is about. But I do think that there are some of you listening right now who have been feeling that kind of low-level hum of something that needs to change. It's what a book I read one time called Holy Discontent. And you've been ignoring it because the thing that needs to change isn't technically broken. It's just kind of in the way. So here's what I want to offer you in a practical way, right? 3 things. First, pay attention to what drains you. Not what's hard. Hard is fine. Hard is good. We all have to do hard. But what drains you? What do you do in your business that leaves you feeling empty instead of tired but fulfilled? That is something worth noting, okay? Second, I want you to notice where you're doing things out of momentum rather than out of intention. What do I mean by that? So something that we keep offering, something that we keep showing up for, something that we keep running like a program just because we always have. And it's got a little bit of momentum. But momentum, friend, is not strategy. They're not the same thing, okay? And then last, I want you to ask yourself this question. If you were starting fresh right now today, would you build it the same way? And then just sit with that for a minute. If you can, I really want you to carve out some time this week. If you're driving, maybe when the podcast is done, you turn it off and just sit in silence for a minute. You don't have to have a lot of time, 10 to 15 minutes. Step back from the doing and get quiet. Get with the Lord. Bring your business before Him and genuinely ask what needs to go in the name of what's next. The answer may be nothing. Maybe you're on the right track. But I know for me, this process has been invaluable. I'm still in the thick of it. I'm not asking what's broken. I'm not asking what's failing. But I know that He's ready to clear out some things so that something better can be built. And then after you ask the question, do some active listening. I took a workshop once about journaling with the Lord, and the leader said just to write what you feel or write what you hear in your head. Don't edit it at all. Don't stop. Just write. And then when you're done, go back and read it. For me, it was an incredibly powerful exercise. And many times, what was on that paper is not what would have naturally come from me, right? Thank you, Jesus. Give it a shot. You might be surprised what He surfaces. It might be something small. It might be something you've been avoiding for a little while. Either way, you don't have to act on it tomorrow, but knowing it, friend, that's where the growth is going to be able to begin. All right? I hope that this episode gave you something to sit with today. And if it resonated, would you do me a favor and would you share it with somebody who might also need to hear it that could be in this place or maybe coming up on this type of situation? We'll see you next week.